Hey everyone, Jason here. Welcome back to the layout. It is between Christmas and New Year's 2017, and I've received a couple gifts over Christmas, so I'm going to share those items with you and give you a few other little updates on the layout. I'm also going to show you a walk around of my second hobby. That's my '94 Supra that I've shared briefly in the past, and a lot of people were asking about it. So this video is going to be two parts. It's going to be the layout and what's new and a brief update, and you're going to see my car that I've been working on and modifying a bit. And I hope you guys enjoy both. I'm not changing this to a car channel. This is going to stay trains. Hopefully the Supra doesn't draw too much of an undesired crowd, I guess is the way to say it, because the car community on YouTube is pretty vast, and I want to keep this channel dedicated to the trains, and the audience, I want to keep it as the train audience, but thought I'd share that with you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you what's new. So first up, really cool item. These are the Lionel 86-foot auto parts boxcars, and this is the Grand Trunk paint scheme. This was a gift actually given to me by my girlfriend, and I only asked for one of them, but she went ahead and got the 2-pack for me. So pretty cool gift. I love the blue paint scheme, and I have a few of these already in Norfolk Southern and Conrail, and these two Grand Trunk cars kind of complete that set. So really love these cars. I haven't had to modify any couplers or glue any couplers yet. The old ones, or not the old ones, but the last ones I bought, I ended up having to glue the couplers shut, having to re-glue the adjustable couplers on them. They're just not very well built from the factory. It's a simple fix, but I haven't had that issue yet with these. You'll see these running around the layout in a minute. Rotating bearing caps, great level of detail. I really loved getting these cars. It's just not Christmas without getting some kind of Lionel or MTH train, so this was a really special gift. And here's the other really cool gift I got. My parents actually got me this. This is the MTH DCS Wi-Fi interface unit. This allows me to run my trains using any smart device. In my case, I'm using my iPhone 6, and I can use it just fine on my regular iPhone 6. It would probably be even better to have it on an iPad or some kind of iPhone like 6 Plus or 7 Plus, but I run them just fine on the smaller screen. But this thing is really cool. I think it's a lot easier to use than the traditional remote. I mean, the remote's been around now for a couple decades probably, and nothing has really changed on it. And you can't update this thing as easily and regularly as you can with the Wi-Fi app, which you can just update like any other app that you have. So MTH can improve it all the time. They've already had multiple updates to make this thing even better. But I just, for all the things I do, I really like this. I can easily build, well, you can't really see the screen there, but these are all the engines in the phone. You can easily build lash-ups on it, and I've noticed that I just have a lot fewer errors with finding engines or engine not found errors. It's improved the performance of the layout already, and thanks to the folks at Stockyard Express, which is where my parents got this, they were able to help get it set up, get everything updated for me, and then showed me how to move all my engines, switches, and accessories into the phone. The unit I have right down here by the control stand. It's just kind of sitting there right now. That's it. Plugged into the TIU. And yeah, it's if you haven't seen this yet or used it before, I'd encourage you to either maybe read about it online, or if you go to a store like Stockyard Express or another big hobby shop, they can maybe give you a demo on how to use it. It's very easy, and it seems that everyone who tries it out and uses it becomes a fan of it, so pretty cool. Okay, so not as thrilled to talk about this issue. I've been operating Atlas Track for 8 or 9 years now without any issues. Then I kind of had this freak issue happen. I think it was the day before Christmas, maybe, or the day before Christmas Eve, and one of my engines suddenly derailed, and I went to go see what happened, and I had these two switches. Both of them were connected back to back, like connected here on the ends, both in the open position, and the same rail on both switches broke off. This rail is for the closed position. If it was just going to continue straight, it fits right here. It just completely broke off of the tie pins, derailed the engine, and I didn't realize it at the time. I took this switch out, replaced it with a regular 072 curve while I tried to either fix it or go out and get another one. And then my first test run, I realized this one had broke as well in the same exact spot. So I'm not sure how this happened. I want to say maybe it was the equipment running over it. It's possible that a pickup roller dropped down too low as it was crossing over the rail, but I don't know, it doesn't really look like there would have been really an opportunity for the roller to drop down and pop it off. Maybe it was just wear and tear combined with a steam engine just kind of banging through the switch really hard. I don't know what. I love Atlas Track, and this doesn't change my view on how good Atlas is, but I am curious on how this happened. I fixed it. I fixed this switch temporarily, but this thing broke off again, so I'll save this switch. I'll save both switches and fix them to the best of my ability, save them for a future layout, and just put them in a spot that's not as critical, you know, somewhere in a yard, or like an engine yard or something, sometime way down the line. I do have a couple new ones ordered through Uncle Ray's Trains, so we'll see when those come in. Hopefully those stand up well. I should note, I broke these ties off. That was not a defect from Atlas. While I was removing the switch, I was a little rough with it and broke the ties off, as well as this center rail here I broke off as well. That was my fault, not that wasn't an Atlas issue. So that's pretty unfortunate, and it's a pretty expensive mistake as well. So just thought I'd share that with you guys. If you have any idea why that might have happened, no, I know someone's going to comment it's because it's built in China, or someone's going to make that comment. Look, almost all of these trains are built in China, so if you have an idea of what it might have been, I'd like to hear it. But yeah, just thought I'd share that with you guys. Pretty unfortunate, but it happens. Okay, so just for reference of where those two switches are, you can't even see them. They're actually both hidden right where that tunnel portal starts. There's one switch that leads to the intermodal line, and behind it there's a even more hidden switch that goes on the siding, hidden completely under the mountain. And so right now there's just two curved sections of track over there. The good thing is I cut a access hole under the mountain, so I have pretty decent accessibility to both switches. So once the new ones come in, I should hopefully just take a short afternoon and pop them into place, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so as I mentioned, I'm now going to show you a walk around and a little feature on my second hobby, my Toyota Supra, so hope you enjoy. Okay, so a little break from the layout, and I'm going to give y'all an update on my second hobby. A lot of you have requested to see an update on this car since I bought it 2 years ago. This is my 1994 Toyota Supra, twin turbo, 6-speed. It is the Targa, so the roof does come off. It goes in the trunk. And I've done quite a few things since the last time you saw it. When I picked up this car 2 years ago, it was mostly stock. It had a few mods done to it, intake, exhaust, and some aftermarket things in the interior, some aftermarket lights here and there that really I thought, well, it kind of looked like crap really. There were red and blue lights all over this thing, and the dash panels were painted silver. Some stuff that I really thought was just really tacky and took away from the originality of the car. But I'll walk around the exterior first. Probably it is a 94 Supra, original Alpine silver. There's this silver, Alpine silver. There's also a much rarer silver called Quicksilver, but this is Alpine silver, which is kind of in the middle of the road as far as rarity goes. The first thing people always say when they see this car is they can't believe how clean and well kept it is. And it is probably one of the best examples of a clean Toyota Supra around, but I do work pretty hard to keep it that way. The stock wheels are right here. That's the thing, I don't get rid of any stock part that comes off of this car. I keep it all, keep it stored. The idea with this car is I don't modify anything that can't be undone, because these cars are going up in value. People want them original or close to original, and they want the original parts for them. So one of my favorite things I did was the wheels. These are 18-inch CCW SP500s, polished aluminum, 10 inches wide in the front, 11 inches wide in the rear, with a really big 305 35 18 tire on the back. Definitely not a winter tire or a rain tire. Not too much tread on it. The rotors are aftermarket. I actually don't know which brand they are because they were on the car when I bought it. The calipers are factory. The black calipers there with the Supra logo. Those are from the factory. There is a window tint on the car, just black. I think it's 20% is what I did. It's a little dark. I'm not crazy about window tint, but looks pretty good. I did all of the 97, 98 upgrades, which are the tail lights, the gray tail lights, the Super Turbo badge on the back. If we go to the front of the car, I did the 97, 98 headlights and the 97, 98 front bumper with has the grille crossbar there, along with the turn signals are different on the 97, 98 Supra. So that's the exterior. You can see if I get low here. Aha! See a nice Greddy intercooler. It's a 3-row front mount. Nice polished piece there. And let's go ahead and take a look in the interior real quick. One of the things I did recently was added keyless entry. The Supra did not come with keyless entry, but if I push it, unlocks the door. We take a look on the inside. Very clean interior. The seats have a little bit of wear on them, but they haven't been replaced or reupholstered. The steering wheel is a 97, 98 steering wheel with a perforated leather there on the ends. I've replaced a lot of parts on the interior with original OEM parts. As I said, the dash used to be painted silver. It was the same silver as the exterior of the car, and I thought it looked it looked god awful, I thought. So I had it repainted, restored back to factory black. I put the chrome polished rings around the dashes as a little extra touch of flair. The polished reverse lockout. It's a Pioneer touchscreen. And one of my favorite things I did with the car is I updated
the gauge cluster to TRD gauges and LED lights, along with the HVAC buttons, are all LEDs and brand new buttons. Really modernizes the car. That was another thing about this car. I really wanted to bring it into the 21st century. So we got touchscreen, MP3, Bluetooth, and makes this car look like it could have been built in the last 10 years rather than, almost 25 years ago. So yeah, lots of little pieces replaced here and there in the interior, carpets and trim pieces. I have had a new sound system put in, but you wouldn't know it because all the speakers are in their original OEM housings. But I did recently have new speakers put in. Back seat. If you know Supras, you know there's not much of a back seat, but it's actually pretty good for storage. And this back does fold down, which I'll show you in a minute. But let's take a quick look in the trunk. If I just pull the trunk lever, come to the back. Alright, nice clean trunk. And that is a factory subwoofer box. And there's an aftermarket sub in there. Sounds really nice. There's a little cover here for when you have the Targa in here. This just unfolds and covers it up. And there's the latches for the Targa top to go into. This is what I was telling you about. It is, after all, hatchback, so you pull that, push it down. Now you got a whole lot more back seat space. And this does come off. I can remove that, and then, you can fit golf clubs, suitcases, anything you want back here. It's actually a very practical car for running errands, going to do fun things for the weekend. I do have a aftermarket boost gauge, and someone's going to ask how many miles are on the car, so I might as well turn it on real quick. There's the boost gauge. Mileage, there it is, we're almost at 89,000 miles. So not bad for a car this old, considering a lot of Supras have over 100,000 miles on it. I think having one at 88,000 is pretty good. But now let's get to the part that you all probably really want to see. That's what's under the hood. So let's pull the latch and take a look. So here's one of the biggest reasons people want this car. It's because it has the legendary 2JZ GTE engine in it. It's a 3-liter inline 6, which was gained so much popularity because it was in the first Fast and Furious movie. This is the twin turbo version. As you can see, I've got a few parts under here that add a little bling and performance. I've got the TRD strut tower. As I said, I have the 3-row intercooler, which here's the hot side going out of the turbo and the cold side going into the intake manifold. And this is a powder coated fan shroud, just powder coated black, and just a polished upper radiator pipe, little TRD cap, and 2J Motorsports intake here. And this is a Hallman boost controller. That's the blue piece here. Probably replace that with a black one, just because I like to stick to the same color theme of black, silver, and polished, and then this little blue thing kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. But also have the HKS blow-off valve there. And that's about all for under the hood. If we walk to the back, I have a 3-inch downpipe on the car, and that goes to the Apex N1 Evo exhaust. The car came with an Apexy exhaust on the car, but past the muffler, it was just rusted to all hell. So I got a new one. This one is polished all the way through. There is a resonator on it, so this car is actually pretty darn quiet until you really get on the throttle. It opens up and comes alive. But I like how quiet the car is, because it already draws a pretty good amount of attention to itself. So a quiet exhaust isn't a bad thing, and You know, honestly, I don't I don't like being the loud, obnoxious racer driving around. I like the subtlety of the noise from this car, and like I said, when I get on it, it does open up and it makes a great sound. And I'm sure everyone's going to ask this question, so I'll just answer it here. How much power does the car make? Well, I had it at Sound Performance in Chicago a few weeks ago, and it did very well for being a basic bolt-on car. It made 425 at the wheels, 16 pounds of boost, which is very good for this car. I thought I was going to have to push 18 or 20 pounds of boost to get that kind of power. And I can still turn it up quite a bit on that boost controller, so who knows, maybe it can make closer to 450 or higher, but I really don't have this car to be racing people. I have it just to enjoy and to have fun on the weekends. So I'm sure everyone is going to want to say, oh, you should get a big single turbo and you got to make this car 1,000 horsepower, and that's just not my plan. I know plenty of people who have done big single turbo upgrades, and not only does it just cost a ridiculous amount of money, but then you're going to have a car that's honestly unreliable. It's going to blow up. The motor's going to blow up eventually. You're going to have a lot of problems. And I really wanted to have this car to just keep the originality, you know, do some upgrades, but just keep the overall originality and keep the original essence of the Supra. So that's what I've done, and I feel like that's what I've accomplished. I really don't have much more that I want to do to this car. I think it's pretty much near perfect the way it is. I'm really happy with it. And to take it another step further would just be such an investment, and I really just can't justify pouring that much more money into it. So makes good power. It's good for me. I'm happy with it. So that's about it for the car. People say I should make a channel dedicated to the Supra, and I've considered it. I think people would really enjoy it. The thing is, I would probably create a channel completely separate from my Model Railroad channel. And you know, the car community it's a whole nother beast. You know, doing my model train videos, it's a pretty niche audience, and you jump into the car world, especially with this car, and gosh, you just have so many trolls and haters on YouTube that I don't know if it would even be worth the headache, but we'll see. I'll start the car and give it a little rev, and that'll be it for this car. I hope you guys like it. It's another expensive hobby to be a part of.
Alright, that's going to be all for this update. Hope you liked the car walk around. I hope you liked the new items for the layout. If you have questions on either one, feel free to ask in the comments below. Again, I plan to make more videos. I've mentioned it. I've mentioned that I want to make a lot more videos, and I'm going to hopefully keep those coming once a month maybe. And if you want to see something specifically, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. So hope you enjoyed another update, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.